Good afternoon, everybody. This is Debbie, and I am very happy to be here again, Tuesday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern every week. This week's subject is if you're having a hard time staying on topic. I was speaking with someone earlier this month, a little bit more than a week ago, and she expressed that she was having a challenge in writing her book. Because she found that when she would sit down to write, very often she would end up writing about all sorts of other subjects other than the book that she was intending to write about. So she was getting really frustrated with herself because she found that the time she was spending on her book, on writing her book, wasn't actually producing the book that she wanted, and she felt like wasting a lot of time writing about other things. So I know a lot of you are struggling with the same sort of challenges. You have way too many ideas in your head. And when you sit down to write, you're not quite sure what you should be writing about today. So I do have a couple of suggestions for you. I'm not a professional writing coach per se. I'm more of a publisher, but I want to encourage you to keep on writing and to overcome whatever the obstacles are that you're facing. And so this is the obstacle that we're going to face today, and we're going to talk about it together. So if you're new to my friends list or to my group, my name is Debbie Horovich. I'm known as a book publishing fairy godmother because I'm passionate about helping people get their books published in their vision and promoted to bestseller without falling into the common traps that cause many authors to waste time, energy, and money on their books. I've been publishing books on Amazon since 2013, and I've been publishing books for others now for 5 years. And at the start, I didn't know much. I didn't know anything about how to publish a quality book. All I knew was how to get a book up on Amazon. And it's taken a lot of time and courses and working with various coaches over the years that has shown me the work that I've done over the years has really allowed me to develop a system that gives me the opportunity to guarantee bestseller status for the authors whose books I publish. So it's a good status. Now, it took me a long time to develop this system, but it's different and it works, and I'm really excited to tell you about it today. So we're not really just talking about the system. What we're talking about is when you're really, really busy and you've got other things going on in your life, you're not interested in even being a full-time book author. Maybe you're not even going to be writing more than just one book. Maybe that's it for you, just one book, publish, and you're done. I believe that if you've taken the time to write and publish your book, if you've overcome the self-confidence issues and other people criticizing your work, or even thinking yourself that maybe you need to be waiting for permission, then I really want to encourage you to agree with me. My belief is that if you've overcome all of these things, if you've already sacrificed this much time and energy, the best thing you need to do for yourself, you really, truly deserve to get your book published. And that's what we're here to talk about today. So today's topic is how to get unstuck and start moving forward again in your writing when you have too many ideas and you're having a hard time sticking to writing your actual book. This is a huge challenge that causes so many authors to get stuck while they're writing. And for many authors, it means that they never finish their book at all, right? You have too many ideas, too many topics that you want to write about. And every time you sit down to write with the intention of writing, with working on your book, you end up writing about other things. And you feel like you're spinning your wheels or wasting your time. And I want to help you get unstuck for that. So I have two suggestions for you today that work together as one solution. My tip, these two suggestions that work together as one solution, is really to schedule your writing and to write specifically to an outline that you stick to. right? You stick to both your schedule of writing and the outline that you've written for yourself. Now, talking about your schedule, it's really interesting because I want you to be strategic with yourself and really consider what is going to be the best time of day and week for you on a consistent basis, that you can sacrifice other things, maybe that you don't even enjoy doing all that much, that you can sacrifice other things in order for you to give yourself an hour or two on a regular basis on the same day every single week, or as close to consistently as you possibly can, so that even though it's difficult and you have to make sacrifices to carve out the time, you manage to do it. It becomes a habit, and then it becomes easy, and then it becomes something that you look forward to. And then maybe at some point it becomes something that even spills into the rest of your life, because you're really moving forward in writing your book, and you're really diving into the experience of creating the content and the message and the stories that you have to share. So what I did when I was thinking about, what is really going to be the best time of day for people to be working on their books, what's going to be the best time of day for me to be working on my new book, that I'm really excited about starting to work on and talk about, which is really all about visibility and becoming a published author. And more than just the technical aspects of becoming a published author, it's about overcoming the fears that authors have around visibility and around success. And it's not just authors, but a lot of other people, but it's really intended to speak to authors. So when I was thinking about it, I did a quick post in a Facebook group, and I just wanted to share the post with you really quickly to see if I can figure this out. Here it is. So this is the visual of the post that I posted in a Facebook group last night. And when I checked it a couple of hours ago, it had about 36 comments. Quite a few authors were saying that the regular time for them to be writing their book it's really about working in with their regular schedule. So they have kids, they have jobs. Almost no one was saying, I write all day long, or I write every morning in the morning because I'm a full-time author. Not a single one of the people who responded to my posts said, I'm a full-time author, I write 9 to 5. Right? So not one of them does it. It's not really realistic, I think, to try and get your creative juices flowing on such a consistent basis. It's difficult to do. So the answers that they were giving me were fascinating. People were saying, and not just fascinating, but also logical. It made sense, right? People were saying things like early morning at 4 a.m. That's me. I get up many mornings at 4 a.m. I can't do anything functioning really until about 5 a.m. But I find that when I do get up at 4 a.m., by around 5 a.m., I can sit down and actually create the things that my subconscious brain was working on solutions for me all night while I was sleeping, right? So I go to bed at night. I've got these challenges and these problems, things that I want to tackle in the morning. While I'm sleeping, my subconscious brain does the work for me. So they also said after the kids go to school and before they come home, so 8 to 9:30 in the morning, and then again for, I think it was 3 to 4:30 in the afternoon. One person responded, another person responded Sunday mornings is their time. They don't go to church. And that's the time that they can carve out when things sort of slow down a bit. They can take a beat and focus and sort of lock themselves away into the world of their book. And there were a lot of people who said, really, it's about writing the book in the evenings, after the kids are in bed, after my daily responsibilities are done. Writing my book is my hobby, and they can sit down and write it that way. So my suggestion, my first suggestion to you as a solution is really to try and set a time that is going to work for you. Yes, you will have to make some other sacrifices of other things that you were doing during that time to get your book written, to get it published. But if you put in this time, like if you can carve out 3 hours a week, then you're putting in 150 hours in a year. And that's a lot of time. That is a ton of time for writing your book and publishing it and promoting it. And once your book is written, you have the habit of writing that book, of carving out that time regularly for writing your book, then you can continue using that time on a weekly basis to promote your book, to do other things that are good for your book. So my second suggestion is to really outline what you're writing. I want you to sit down and try and write out an outline for your book in an hour. Like do a brain dump of everything that you think needs to be included in this book, with no other distractions and no other research. Just list everything that you know needs to be in this book. And then when you go through the list, remove the elements that you think, you know what, this can go into a second book. And I want you to be aware of that, because really the more that you try to include in one book, the more pages you're going to need to write, and the bigger and more costly your book is going to be. And the fewer people who are going to look at your book that might be 300 pages long that are going to say, yeah, I want to read that book, because there's just not that many people who enjoy reading a 300-page book. Most people want their solution in a much shorter period of time, unless of course you're writing fiction, and then the length of the book is a different story. It's a different discussion. But even if you're writing fiction, I strongly suggest that you write an outline for yourself, and that you stick to the outline, because it's really going to be the only way that your book will be, that your story will be readable, that it will be cohesive, that it will make sense to readers from beginning to end. You know, like you can do a lot of writing that is just brain dump as well. But try and do it on sections, especially if you're writing nonfiction. Try and just say, I'm going to sit down and write everything I can think about this one minor topic, and that's going to become a page or a chapter or a couple of chapters, a whole module in my book, or maybe even the entire book itself. Your book doesn't need to be long. It doesn't need to be 100 pages. It doesn't need to be 300 pages. Your book can be effective, best-selling, effective for you and for the readers at providing a solution in 50 pages or less, right? There's no rules. So I don't want you to be afraid to outline more than one book at once, because as you're sitting down and writing all of the subjects, you're going to come up with a lot of things, and you're going to come up with some topics that you want to write about, but they're really not for this niche book, for the niche, for the subject at hand, that you want to make this particular book that you're writing, you want to make it the de facto book purchase for that particular type of reader need. So if you need to research for topics that you should be including in your book, the first research that I recommend for you is researching other books in your category on Amazon in the bestseller list, and check out the description of their book and their table of contents to see what's already being addressed. This is what the marketplace is talking about. This is what the influencer authors who are already out there, who are already talking to the media, who are already talking to the same audience that you're going to be talking to, that they're talking about. And it's up to you to make a decision. Do you want to talk about the same subjects with a different angle? Do you want to talk about completely different angles? Or do you want to just sort of add your own voice to the conversation that's already happening? And any of those three choices is fine. There's no reason why you can't start where you want to start and then produce your next book later. But my suggestion is focus, write your outline, figure out what schedule you're going to write on, and then take the very first hour to 2 hours within the schedule to write your outline. And then every time you sit down on your schedule of writing, just try and stick to the writing. Try and stick to your outline. It does help people also to take time specifically to write off of the topic for your book, but still related, still within your expertise, within your wheelhouse, so that what you're doing is you're sort of like letting the steam off of the pot on the stove so that it doesn't explode, and containing all of the goodness within your book, but letting the steam out. And what you're doing when you're writing off topic but still related, you're also producing blog posts and articles that you can publish while you're writing on them, while you're writing your book, so that you can build excitement with your audience ahead of time, right? Advance promotions. The biggest reason why this whole trap happens for authors of having too many ideas, too many topics that they want to write about, is because authors are overwhelmed generally with balancing both writing and promotions at the same time, trying to figure out how to do both. What promotion should I do while I'm writing the book, and not knowing what to do. So they end up doing nothing at all and deciding, okay, I will start focusing on promoting my book when I'm done, which is actually completely the opposite. You want to promote your book from the very beginning throughout, well before you're publishing. So it is a little bit of a chicken and egg. You know, which do you do first? Write your outline or set your schedule. But the reality is you want to get started with both, and then just stick to it. You know, stick to your subject, stick to what is important that you talk about, and don't go over that. So that's it for this week. I want you to join me in the free group that will help you overcome any and all challenges that are keeping you stuck. It's called Book Publishing, Sales and Promotion Secrets for Authors and Entrepreneurs. And the link, I'll post the link in the comments of the video. It is Facebook group /bestseller book publishing. If you're ready to make your book a bestseller, whether it's been published for years or you want to talk about becoming a bestseller before you even publish your book, reach out to me and I'd be happy to help. I'll talk to you in the DMs. Have a great day.